Welcome back to the channel. I'm Raider Honcho and I'm here with a brand new video for you. If you're a fan of the Las Vegas Raiders and want to support this channel, please subscribe. And don't forget to go check out RaiderHoncho.com and pick you up some of that merch. Also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Raider Honcho. Now, let's get right into it. Today, I am going to be grading the Raiders free agency up to this point. Now, I do believe that there are moves that can continue to be made. There are other players still out there. There is no news on Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Dory Jackson, Melvin Ingram. There are a lot of people out there that we can still sign, but I thought it was important. I thought it would be interesting to go through what we have signed, go through a little bit of the contracts, and give them grades on each player and give Mike Mayock and John Gruden a final grade for what they've done in free agency up till this point. Okay, so let's get right into it. I am going to start from the bottom and end up at the top. So let's go Zay Jones, okay? Zay Jones, we signed him for 1 year, 2.5 mil. Obviously, this is a move that just brings up depth. This is a move that brings some more familiarity to our team. He's been with us. Some people really see Zay Jones as a solid number 2 if we didn't have so many receivers, right? So, I mean, to me, it's just a depth move, and I'm going to give this move a C, only because it doesn't really do us any harm. 1 year, 2.5 million, and I also believe that it's important to have players that have been here, whether you're going to bring in free agent wide receivers or draft wide receivers. I just think it's important to have receivers and players that have been here and kind of know what the coaching staff is like and just bring that familiarity to the team, right? Anybody coming in here and somebody who can just kind of give them some type of inside scoop on what we're trying to do schematically, and I think that that's somewhat important. So I do give the Zay Jones move a C, all right? Now, we're going to move on to Nicholas Morrow, linebacker. We signed him to a 1 year, $4.5 million, and I give this signing an overall B-. Okay, now, Nicholas Morrow is not a world stopper. He's not a world beater when it comes to the linebacker position, but he was one of our standout players last year and probably was our best player on defense. Let's call a spade a spade, right? Like, there's no way around it. Nicholas Morrow was one of our best players last year on the team, period, and he definitely had a standout season. Now, it is interesting that we signed up for 1 year, $4.5 million, because to me, it means either one of two things. It means he's going to get really paid next year by us when we get the bigger salary cap and the TV deals and all that stuff, or we don't believe he's the answer, but he's somebody we need this year. And I think it's important to note that when we sign players to 1 year deals, it's not just because, well, next year we're going to pay them and stuff like that. It also could just mean that we need bodies for this season just so we can get through this season, right? We need players to get us through this year, but we might be able to replace them either next year in free agency or in the draft. So I think the Nicholas Morrow deal, one year, $4.5 million, I'm going to give that a B-. All right, now, Denzel Good, offensive line. Now, this was a good pick for me, or a good re-signing for me, because he can play guard or tackle, and with losing Trent Brown, Gabe Jackson, and Rodney Hudson, I just believe that this was actually a pretty good deal. 2 years, $8.36 million. So I am going to give this a B+. I thought it was important that we bring back somebody who's been on our damn offensive line. You don't want to go into next year with a completely new offensive line. You want to have some type of continuity, some type of familiarity at that core, at that position. So I think that this was a pretty good deal, all right? $8.36 million, a little more than I thought he would get. I thought he would sign a 2-year deal, maybe $5-6 million. But it is good to see the Raiders investing in somebody that, you know, is not a hometown player. I mean, I think he's a former 7th round pick, but I think he can replace Gabe Jackson, and I mean, the money's a little higher, which is why I didn't give it an A. But I do think this is a B+ signing for us. Nevin Lawson, cornerback. We don't really know the ins and outs of his contract or how much money he did sign for at this point. I'm making this video, but you know, I'm not really happy with this. I don't believe in Nevin Lawson as far as being an answer at any question that we have at the defensive back position. I think we're really weak at defensive back, not just safety, but corner as well, which is why I want to get the Richard Shermans out there, and I also want to draft cornerbacks. So I'm going to give the Nevin Lawson signing a D, even though I have no idea what the money is. That's going to be a D for me. Moving right along, offensive lineman Richie Incognito. This was a really good signing for me. this was a really good signing for me. Out of all the linemen that we cut or released or traded or got rid of, I thought it was important to bring back Richie Incognito. 1 year, $2.62 million. I give this a B+. Because when you think about it, like what the Raiders stand for and the mystique of the Raiders, it really is your attitude and your aggression and your grit and your anger. Like, I really believe that Richie Incognito really identifies with being a Las Vegas Raider, and he wanted to be a Raider. So even though, yeah, we released him and we did all that, it was no doubt in my mind we were going to bring him back. John Gruden absolutely loves Richie Incognito, and I think the fans like Richie Incognito. I think he just represents what it is to be a Raider as far as on-field antics, okay? I'm not talking about anything in his life. I'm not talking about anything off the field. I know he's had his transgressions and his issues, but like I say all the time, shit happens, man. So I really think this was a good signing for us. I give that a B+. And for 1 year, $2.62 million, I mean, yeah, I really like that, okay? Moving right along, Quentin Jefferson, defensive tackle. We signed him for 1 year, $3.25 million. And I give this signing a C-. Now, it's not that I don't like the player or I really hate the signing. I just don't know what we're going to get from Quentin Jefferson. And you'll know what? Maybe at the end of next year, we'll regrade this free agency class. But as of right now, I just don't think Quentin Jefferson is the answer for us. It does bring in some depth at defensive tackle, but we are really deep at defensive tackle in my mind. In my mind, we are really deep at defensive tackle. So I give this signing a C-. We signed him from 1 year, $3.25 million. And, you know, we'll see what we get from, but to me, this is a guy that might not even make the team, in my opinion. I think it's just somebody we bring in to compete, somebody we bring in to bring in depth, okay? We don't know what type of packages Gus Bradley's going to want to run, and we have to have as many men available to us as possible, all right? So, moving right along, Jonathan Hankins, 1 year, $3.5 million, another defensive tackle, and I give this signing a B+. Especially when you think of the money, right? $3.5 million over 1 year. This is obviously somebody that was a big help to us in the run game, and I think that it's important to reward the people who played well. Jonathan Hankins played really well for us last year, and he was not the issue when it came to that defensive line, okay? Us not getting pressure on the quarterback was not because Jonathan Hankins. Jonathan Hankins was one of our best defenders in the run game, and I thought it was important to bring him back. I didn't think we would be able to bring him back. I thought he would definitely walk, but he also got paid a little more than I thought, right? So I give this a high grade, and I am really excited that we brought Jonathan Hankins back, especially for what he does in the run game. Now, keep in mind, when I'm doing these names, I'm not going to be able to do every single name. I don't think this is everybody we have signed or everybody we're signing, but it's just up to this point, right? So I want you to get down in the comments and let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the signings we've had this offseason. Let me know your grades you would give each one of these players. Or at least the players you care about, all right? So let's keep it moving. Let's go to wide receiver John Brown. Now, these last four are some of the bigger names. So John Brown got 1 year, $3.75 million. And I do give this a B. Now, some of you guys really like this deal. Some of you guys really hate this deal, or you love the player or hate the player or think he's better than Nelson Agholor. I mean, I'm not here to say who's better than Nelson Agholor and who's not, because you know, what's one man's trash, another man's treasure, right? Like, Nelson Agholor could have been trash for the Eagles, came to us, been really good, and he could be trash again going forward. I don't really care about saying what player has more production than the next in their previous years, because until they do it with our team, it really doesn't matter. And I just think that the reason why I give this a B is because I just thought there might have been better options for us, and we have to see what the T.Y. Hiltons get paid and stuff like that. But, you know, the A.J. Greens got $8 million. The Juju's got $8 million. So I'm not mad that we only spent $3.75 million. But he just reminds me of a lot of what Ruggs can do. So, I mean, I might have just wanted to see if Ruggs can hold it down and play that position, right? Be on the outside by himself as a number one. Or actually a number two, because Brian Edwards is probably going to be the number one. But I don't hate the signing. I think John Brown's a really good wide receiver, and I think Derek Carr is good enough to get the best out of anybody they bring in here. So, you know, I'm giving this a B. I don't really hate it. I don't really love it, but I do accept it, and you know, I mean, I'm okay with it, right? Let's move on. Let's go Solomon Thomas. Now, Solomon Thomas is somebody that is intriguing to me because he's a former number 3 overall pick, I believe, with San Fran. I think he played edge, but I think he's going to play defensive tackle for us. He said he's going to play the 3 tech. 1 year, $5 million. I mean, The deal's a little more than I would expect to give a guy that I haven't really been hearing much about. People somebody who's been hurt a lot. And I'm just gonna give this an overall grade of a C minus. All right, like I'm not really. This doesn't move the needle for me. I mean, obviously him being a former #3 overall pick seems good, but I mean, obviously I'm all about production, and until you actually give us some production, I mean, I can't really be too excited over it. So, you know, that it is what it is. We'll see what he does, but he is another defensive tackle. That's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think we picked up 3 or 4 defensive tackles this free agency. So, I mean, obviously we want to compete at that position, but let's not forget about the Irvins out there. Let's not forget about the Mo Hurst that we have. Let's not forget that Cleveland Farrell could also move on the inside. So, defensive tackle, that defensive tackle room is thick, but I still don't know if we have the answer, and I still think we have to draft the defensive tackle. So, when you think about the overall grades for our DTs and think that I still believe we need to draft 1 or 2 of them, I mean, there goes your answer right there on that. So the Solomon Thomas deal, I'm not really all that overly excited about. I'm not going to give it a D. I'll give it a C, C minus, somewhere in there. Okay, moving along. Kenyon Drake. Now, anybody who's watching any of my videos as of late, when we were talking about free agency, I had Kenyon Drake as the honorable mention on somebody we should sign as a second running back. And he's also somebody that I really advocated for in bringing in. I just think that his ability to get yards from scrimmage is just second to none. I mean, 1,000 yards from scrimmage the last 3 years. He's a bigger back. He's fast. He had a connection with Josh Jacobs in the Alabama situation. I just felt like it was a no-brainer to bring in Kenyon Drake. And I know some of you guys don't like the contract. I think we have 2 years, actually $11 million. I think there's room for $3 more million in incentives. So I think that puts him at 2 years, $14 million. But it's a contract that's not front loaded. I think he's only going to get like $5 million this year, and then other things happen. But I just thought that we're not paying him to be a backup running back. We're actually paying him to be a player for us to get us a lot of production. When you think about screen passes, you think about the West Coast offense, you think about speed and what we're really trying to do and push the ball downfield with as many options as we have for a defense to have to game plan for. I think Kenyon Drake is a really good signing. I'm actually going to give this an A. I know some of you guys might hate that. Get down in the comments and let me know what you think. I just think that this is a really good signing for us, and it's something that we needed. I think this gives us a lot of credibility in our backfield. I think us playing 17 games now, the way Jacobs runs, I just don't know if he's built to play an entire season and get 25, 30 carries. We bring in a back that can get us 10 to 15 carries and 5 to 6 catches a game, and I think that's exactly what we needed out of the backfield. I think Rashard is likely to be gone, or maybe, I don't know, but Rashard is also a return guy. I think Kenyon Drake can be a specialist for us. He can also return kicks as well. So I give that signing an A. Now, the last signing I'm going to talk about is our big dog. I think this is our best pick of the offseason. I think it's something we definitely needed. It helps us in our pass rush, helps us in our scheme, it helps us our 7-man front. It just helps our team have an identity, and that's going to be Yannick Ngakoue. I know I was practicing this guy. Damn. I was practicing this name all night and I messed it up. But we signed him to 2 years, $26 million. I'm pretty sure it's all guaranteed. Defensive end. I am giving this an A+ grade. It's something we needed. It's something we had to have. He's familiar with Gus Bradley. I think he probably turned down a little bit more money to come here because he wanted to play in this system. And I really appreciate guys that want to be here and have the potential to be studs. And I think that this guy, Yannick, is just going to give the offenses a whole lot of issues, okay? And it's going to make our offensive line better because they have to block him every single day in practice, okay? I just really love this signing. Get down in the comments, let me know what you think. Now, I did say, if you look at my power rankings, I think I had him at number 9 in my top 10 or top 11 power rankings for the upcoming free agency, but he was definitely somebody I had on my list. I think there were a few red flags with him when it came to in the run game, but you never know, man. The scheme changes. The players give us production. I'm just really excited for this pick. I think he was very highly coveted by other teams, so I'm happy he landed with the Raiders. Now, when you put all these grades together and you talk about a final grade, it's important to average them out. We got 2 A's. We got a lot of B's. We got some C's and a D in there. I am actually going to give John Gruden and Mike Mayock an overall grade of a B- for this offseason. Okay, I'm going to give them a B- for this offseason. Let me explain that to you. I'm going to give it a B- because I feel that Although we didn't get all the answers we needed, we don't have a corner yet, we don't have a free safety yet, I do think we answered the questions with our front seven, and I thought that that was a high priority, and it also takes pressure off of us for the draft, okay? When you talk about free agency is supposed to set up the draft, okay? And I think that's what we did. I think we set ourselves up to not have to reach for a defensive tackle, we don't have to reach for a defensive end, and I think that that's very important for this franchise, that we don't reach, okay? Now, we can take our time and go offensive lineman in the first round. We can go free safety in the first round. And I think that puts us in a great position to maximize and just pick the best player available in the draft. So for that, I give them a B-, okay? Now, get down in the comments and let me know what you think about this. If you like the video, please like the video. If you like the content on this channel, please subscribe to the channel. Alright, if you like the shirt I got on, shout out to my man Spotlight Raider Talk. I'll put the link in the description. Go out there and support that man. And yeah, that's all I got for you today. Let me know in the comments what you think about this video. Give it a thumbs up. And until the next time, Raider Honcho out.